Hello everyone, welcome back to the Budget Sportsman, and thank you so much for joining me on today's video. Today is the start of a grand family adventure. We're going to be spending 2 nights and 3 days here in the beautiful Bald Eagle State Forest in central Pennsylvania. We're going to be camping, hiking, fishing, who knows what all we're going to get into, but I am so glad that you are joining us for the adventure. So it's about 11:30 in the morning and we just pulled into our campsite, and so we've got a lot to do to set up camp, and we're planning to do hot dogs for lunch, so we got to get a fire going right now. Grace is actually asleep in the car, so we got to get a lot done before she wakes up. Well, we got our fire going over there, and got the big tent set up over here. Mama's inside putting up the cots, and look who just woke up from her nap. I think it's almost time for lunch. I'm a little worried though, because all of a sudden it's looking very, very gray. So at least we got one tent set up. We might have to make a mad dash to get some of this gear out of the rain. Well, about 30 seconds after I said, I'm a little concerned it's gonna rain, it started raining. And we were not set up or ready. So we threw a bunch of stuff in the tent, some stuff back in the car. And our fire that wasn't really going super strong yet is probably history.
We weren't quite expecting this.
And we have no cell phone signal to check the radar to see if this is a big storm or not. It wasn't in the forecast, so I'm guessing it's gonna blow over. As a matter of fact, it almost sounds like it might be getting lighter already. I don't know. But I'm hungry. Well, fortunately the rain did not last very long at all, and as soon as the rain was over, I got out here and I put this tarp up just in case another storm blows through. I don't know, it's looking like it's clear skies now, but anyways, now we at least have a place to sit under the tarp. The fire's kind of on the edge of the tarp and the wind's blowing the smoke out from under it, so it should work out all right. Now, time to find some more firewood, and some hot dog sticks. Well, we just finished up cooking some hot dogs for lunch. Grace is still finishing up her hot dog. I thought I'd take a moment to tell you why we chose this particular location to go camping. We are camping in the Bald Eagle State Forest, and I don't know the stats, but this state forest is absolutely massive. And the cool thing about this particular state forest is there are a lot, I think somewhere between 40 and 60, I'm not sure of the exact number, but somewhere in that neighborhood of campsites. These are not really primitive campsites, they call them motorized camping, but they're primitive in the sense of there's no electric, no water, no showers, nothing like that, but there is a pad here, just a flat spot, there is a picnic table and a campfire ring. So the thing that I love about it is that it is free. You do have to make a reservation to make sure that it's available. You have to print a permit that you put in a little post at the front of the campsite here, but otherwise it is absolutely free. So I'm excited. One of the reasons I chose this particular site out of all of them is there's a little stream, oh, I'd say probably 100 yards down here behind the campsite that's supposed to be a stock trout stream. Now I went down there, we've had a dry summer, it's looking pretty low, but I'm hoping to find a little pool or something with some deeper water and hopefully catch some trout. Now if you happen to watch our camping video from last summer where we went up to the Allegheny National Forest and we camped at a boat access only campground, we really actually want to do that again this summer, which is not free, but it's not too terribly expensive. But unfortunately, due to some scheduling conflicts, we weren't able to go there in the off season. And frankly, that campground, the campsites were very close together, and we were a little bit hesitant to go there in the middle of the summer and end up being really close to other people. That's just not our style. So out here, the next closest campsite is probably 2 miles up the road, You're very secluded, and that's why we chose to come here to the Bald Eagle State Forest this summer. The time has come that you've all been waiting for.
Wait, I'm not supposed to laugh.
Why are you laughing?
Sounds so dramatic.
The time has come that you've all been waiting for.
Yeah, that's better.
So the time has come that I've been waiting for, which is to go down and check out the trout stream. I mentioned earlier I was already down there. Had a dry summer, it looks pretty low, but I'm gonna go see if I can't find at least a hole or deep spot and hopefully catch a trout or two.
And what are you gonna do, Grace? You gonna splash?
You gonna splash in the stream? Well guys, I'm working my way downstream here, just looking for any pools deep enough that I think will hold any fish. Look at that! First cast! Oh no! Did you see that? First cast, I had a fish! I cannot believe that. I was not optimistic about that spot at all. That was a little brook trout right there. Very first cast. Oh man. Well guys, I went in the woods up here and I worked my way downstream a couple hundred yards. And now I'm gonna work this section of creek back up. That way I can fish from the bottom side and hopefully spook less fish. Work my way back up to where Hannah's hanging out in the hammock. But other than that first cast, I haven't seen a trout yet. There we go. There we go, hopefully you can see that. That's the first trout of the trip. Now, and I saw him go for it too. There you go, hopefully you're getting a decent look at him. Nice little trout there. Nice little trout. Well, there's the first trout of the trip. And I had a pretty good feeling about this spot. I've been fishing for quite a while with the camera turned off because I just wasn't having any action at all, but I had a good feeling. There's a little bit of a deep spot here, and then on the other side, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a kind of a cutout underneath that log over there. And I cast several times, and finally I saw him come straight for it. In fact, I'm not sure if that's the same one or another one, but I'm seeing one over there right now. Nope, the one I caught is still up under this log right here, so there's another one under there. Well guys, I'm back from my fishing adventure here, and to be honest, I am a little disappointed. This creek is not exactly what I expected. I tried to do some research, find some videos and pictures online, and from what I could find online, it was a significantly bigger creek. Now that could have been pictures from farther downstream, who knows. This is just the kind of stream I have a really hard time fishing in. A lot of rocks, very shallow water, hard to use a spinner, and I just don't normally have a ton of success. But I did catch one that got off and caught another one that I was able to get all the way in. And so it's not a horrible day for the first time fishing in this stream. And the really good news is I found two different holes upstream from camp that both have half a dozen fish in them, easy. You could just see them swimming around. So I'm hoping that either later tonight or early tomorrow morning, probably more likely, that there's going to be a really good fish bite on. I'm hoping they're just not really eating right now. It's sort of midday. It's getting toward later afternoon, but still the sun's high. I'm hoping in that magic golden evening or golden morning hour that the fish are going to be biting, and I'll be able to catch a few more fish out of this stream before the camping trip is over. Right now I got get back up to camp. I'm just about 100 yards below camp here. Got to get back up there and check in on the family. Well, I'm just sitting down to take a little bit of a break. It is almost 5:30, and getting ready to make some supper here. After I went fishing, did some camp chores, in other words, find some firewood. And I'll be honest, it's been a little bit of a hard time finding good firewood. Down toward the creek is the direction I've been looking, but I'm guessing that's the natural place that most people look if they're camping in this spot. And it's pretty picked over. There's really not much good firewood there. And so I tried to bring up this tree that was fallen over. It was this little evergreen tree. It was fallen over, but it was still very green. And it didn't burn well, so I went up above the site here, up the hill, and I finally found a good log. But boy, it's a chore to get cut through it. No chainsaws or anything are allowed here, so it's all hand tools. But we finally got a good fire going, probably the best fire we've had going all day. Finally got some decent wood on it, and I think it's about time to grill some chicken. Little update on the supper situation here. Not really sure what Hannah already showed you, but these instant mashed potatoes that you get at the dollar store, Dollar General, are great, easy camping food, especially with the isobutane stove here. But usually what we've found in the past is that you end up with a really messy pot to clean up. And so what we tried this time is just putting the what do you call it, powdered? The powdered mashed potatoes, whatever, in this gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and then dumping the hot water in and mixing up that way. And I guess the proof will be in the eating, but so far I think it worked, and when we're done we'll just be able to throw this Ziploc bag away and have sort of a mess-free meal in that way. And then up here, Hannah is cooking some broccoli on the isobutane stove as well. Dear Jesus, thank you that we can come out camping. Thank you for the beautiful weather we've had today. Thank you for such a yummy meal. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Well, it is just after 9 o'clock, and despite our best efforts to get Grace to bed early, she just fell asleep not too terribly long ago. But it's dark, our fire's dying down, and we decided, you know what, kind of tired out myself, and so I think we're going to head to bed. This is the end of day 1. Hope you'll stick around for day number 2 of camping and adventure in Bald Eagle State Forest.
Good night.
It is just shy of 7 o'clock, and I just woke up not too long ago. Normally I'm a pretty early riser when camping, but I actually guess I slept fairly well last night, all things considered, and it's a fairly cool morning, and so I'm just kind of enjoying being warm here in this sleeping bag. Grace did really well. She slept all night, never woke up once, and I guess unfortunately Hannah didn't sleep quite as well as Grace and I, but still got some sleep, I guess. But thank you for sticking with us here for day 2 in the Bald Eagle State Forest. We're going to get up, get the fire going, make some bacon and eggs.
Alright, so we got breakfast made, got all the dishes cleaned up, everything's done, and when you're camping, you're moving slow, it takes a while. It's about 9:45 right now, and we're just sitting here talking about what we're going to do for the day. There's not a lot to do right here at the campsite, but there's plenty to do in the Bald Eagle State Forest. So I've got a map printed out here that I brought from home. It's not the whole state forest, but it's kind of the big section that we're camped in. And I'm looking at the map and I'm seeing a lot of overlooks. And there's also a little state park in the middle of the actual state forest. Looks like it has a little lake. So I think what we're going to do is get in the car, drive around, and see some more of the state forest. Now this campsite is okay. We've never been in this area of the park before, so for just picking it at random, it's not a bad site. But we want to check out some of the other campsites for maybe some future camping trips, see if there's anything we like better. And then in addition, there's a lot of these overlooks. And so I think we're going to go ahead and try to hit 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, depending on what route we choose to take, but see quite a few different overlooks. And I think what we're going to do today is try to do some photography in addition to our Budget Sportsman video here. And we might even have a little competition, maybe? Hannah's behind the camera, that's why I'm looking over there. So I think we might have a little competition, see, maybe let you guys vote who is able to get the best picture of the entire day. We'll just take the whole day and see who can get the best picture. Well, we've been driving around in the car for a while, checking out a couple of campsites. One I really liked. It was a big grassy clearing, but the bad news was there was no water supply right nearby. So that was a little bit of a downside to me. The other two were so-so. There was water a little bit closer. But now we just made it to our first overlook. It's beautiful. There's Hannah and Grace. Let me show you around here. Well guys, the next stop on our journey here today is the RB Winter State Park, I think it's called, and it's a little state park right in the middle of this massive state forest. Now you can probably see behind me there on the other side of the lake, there's actually a beach, and for not that hot day, at least not yet, there's a surprising number of people over there, and the beach scene is just not my scene. So what we're gonna do though is on this side of the lake, down here kind of behind the camera, there's some cool things that we found that I think we're gonna do some of that photography that we talked about earlier, and hopefully take a couple of cool pictures while we're here today. We finished up down there by the lake taking some pictures, had a nice time, and now we're still in the same state park, but we came up on the mountain here, and you can look down into the valley where the lake is and everything, and I'll give you a view of that. Well, I think we're only going to just look around here for a minute, and then we're going to head on to another overlook up the road a ways, and hopefully have lunch at the next overlook. Okay, overlook number 3 for today is the Black Gap Vista, and another beautiful overlook. We're going to have lunch here. It's a little warm in the sun, but I think it's going to be a beautiful view. There's actually a campsite right here, campsite number 7. Looks like it'd be a pretty sweet spot to camp right here next to the overlook. But again, there's no water. You're way on top of the mountain. Well, we made it back to camp and I got the fire all stoked up and ready to make supper, but we have about an hour and a half, I think, until it's actually time to start making supper. Grace is sleeping, Hannah's hanging out in the hammock again, and I'm going to do a little fishing. So today instead of wearing my rubber boots, I am going flip-flops today. The reason being is my rubber boots leak. And I would rather be wet in flip-flops than wet inside socks and rubber boots. Just, it's an icky feeling. So I'm gonna just actually wade the stream. I'm gonna try to work upstream and hit those couple of holes where I found a lot of good trout yesterday that weren't biting. Who knows, it's about 3:30 in the afternoon, still not that magic hour that I wanted to fish, but it's the time that I have today, so hopefully we can get one or two on the line. Guys, I'll be honest with you, this has not been what I was hoping for or expected. These little minnows kept going for my worm, and my hook was a little bit too big to get them, but finally I got one. Not really what I was after. Without boring you with all the details, suffice it to say, the fishing pretty much stank. I cast everything in the book, including worms and lures and everything at those fish, and not even a strike. I had one nibble and that was about it. Except for about a little tiny minnow about that big that I caught. So I'm gonna head back, probably start cooking up some hamburgers pretty soon. But the fishing so far has been a bit of a disappointment. All right, so it's supper time now, and if you remember back at breakfast how we were making bacon, well, we like bacon, so we're gonna do it again at supper. But really what we're doing is we're making hamburgers, and we're gonna just fry up some bacon. If I didn't be able to hear it sizzling behind me, fry up some bacon for on top of our hamburgers. Morning y'all, it's our last morning here in the Bald Eagle State Forest. We had another pretty good night last night. Grace slept through the night, got up around 6:30. Hannah and I slept pretty good. I think Hannah slept better than the night before, so I'm not really too sure what we're gonna get into today, but for right now it's build a fire, make some breakfast, get warm, and probably start packing up all of our stuff, and then we can just enjoy the forest for a while before we head home. I definitely have an appetite for breakfast after cutting that. Well, the last time you saw us, we were eating breakfast, and behind me now, Hannah is making lunch. That means we haven't updated you in a while. But as you can probably see behind me, the tents are down. And we've still got to fold one of them up, but we've been doing a lot of packing, got all the cots and sleeping bags and everything put away. And we just kind of been sitting around the fire, enjoying, relaxing, doing some camp chores, filtering water, that kind of thing. And I think after we eat lunch, we're going to pretty much be packed up, ready to go. Might do a little fishing after lunch or do some hiking or something else here in the forest. And then, before too much longer, this camping trip's going to be over. Alright, so it's 1 o'clock now, and we finally got the campsite all cleaned up, got lunch done, got everything packed in the car, we're ready to pull out. But before we end this video here, and before we end this camping trip, I do think I'm going to take a few more casts into the stream. Now, as you saw, the stream that's right here by this campsite, I did not do well. I only caught one that got off, and I actually caught one. And, but I'm going to go upstream a little bit, the same stream, but there was a couple spots I saw yesterday when we were looking around that looked pretty decent. So I might go take just a few casts before we wrap this thing up and head home. that one. There we go. Finally the second trout of the trip here. In a perfect spot. I mean, it just looked like the spot you had to catch one in for sure. And I did. Boy, he's in there pretty good. All right, buddy. Let me get you a little water. There you go. Beautiful fish. Looks like a rainbow. Colors aren't real brilliant, but I'm sure happy to catch one. That's for sure. It's been slow fishing. I don't know if you can see him. He's still right there, swimming out into the deeper water. Well, that's going to do it for this video and this adventure. I sure am glad we took at least a few minutes here to catch at least one more fish at the end of the trip. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm so thankful that you stayed tuned all the way to the end of the video. If you would leave me a comment down below and let me know where your favorite place is to go camping, maybe a favorite memory you have. And until next time,
Say, get off YouTube.
Get down, dude.
Get outdoors.
Yeah, guys.
Into God's great creation.
Creation.